Thank you, Senator Cotton. Round one is now complete, and I hereby notify all members if you want to participate in a round two, come back right away because round two tends to go pretty fast. We'll start that now again with 5-minute rounds. The beginning of my second round, I just want to ask you a little bit about the Department of Energy's appliance standards programs. Some of these regulations are of concern, or at least ought to be noticed by the American people as they impact all Americans in one way or another. They reach almost all equipment that uses energy to any significant degree in Americans' homes. So dishwashers, clothes dryers, clothes washers, light bulbs, and a whole lot more. There are consumer protections, of course, built into the statute, protections that were designed to ensure that things wouldn't get too expensive and that, quality didn't fall off the table in connection with them. But in contrast to the previous Trump administration, the Biden administration has run somewhat roughshod over some of those consumer protections built into the law. This effort was, of course, in service of the Biden administration's whole-of-government focus on reducing greenhouse gas emissions, sometimes to the exclusion of authorized statutory mandates. What will you do to ensure that maximum protections for American families and consumers will be recognized and respected if you're confirmed as Energy Secretary when implementing the Appliance Standards Program?
Thank you, Senator. Thank you for that question and for raising that concern. I can assure you that concern is on the mind of millions of Americans across the country. I hear it very often. We want to drive, and the Department of Energy and the government wants to drive innovation and more efficient technologies, meaning delivering the same end with less inputs. That's advancement, that's technology. But to take clothes dryers, for example, it takes heat and it takes airflow, and both of those take energy. And I look at some new appliances today, and they use half the energy per minute, but if it takes an hour to dry your clothes instead of 30 minutes to dry your clothes, it's the same energy consumption, and you lost a half an hour. So does regulation go well beyond what's sensible and logical? It does a lot. It does a lot. And what I want to do is look at what's happening there, what's driving that analysis, and are we playing a role of a reasonable regulator, or are we trying to check boxes or make achievements where the trade-offs are simply not worth it? I think you should always be a little humble and a little cautious when you're proposing to reduce the choices of American consumers.
That is a fair point, especially when you're dealing with administratively promulgated rules that themselves have the effect of generally applicable federal law. They're enforceable as such. If they're not complied with, they can result in massive fines. They can result in somebody's business getting shut down. They can, even in some cases, with some administratively promulgated regulations, result in prison time if you fail to abide by them. And so that's all the more important. Anytime you're taking away consumer choice, that's of concern. Anytime you're making new law outside the people's elected lawmaking branch, that's also concern. We've got a number of things in front of us. One of the things that I've enjoyed reading is this document, which I understand you yourself wrote. It's entitled Bettering Human Lives. And you see energy is playing a significant role in that. In this, you take on a whole bunch of different issues, including the fact that as a result of the fact that we as Americans have access to reliable, affordable, clean electric power, we're able to avoid a lot of problems that in many other countries they face. For example, you cite some alarming statistics from the government of Kenya, the Kenyan Ministry of Health, talking about respiratory infections. Tell me how those relate to the availability of affordable, reliable electric power.
Yeah, I view this as maybe, Senator, the most urgent energy challenge on the planet today, which is just simply the access of basic clean cooking fuels, also used for heating. But all of our ancestors all stayed warm and cooked food burning wood. And regrettably, more than 2 billion people on the planet today still burn wood indoors, sometimes charcoal or dung, but mostly wood indoors to cook their meals and keep their house at a safe temperature. That indoor air pollution kills over 2 million people every year. Like, this is outrageous, and it's entirely solvable. And in fact, one of the things I'm most proud of the shale revolution is, while we've well more than doubled oil production, nearly doubled natural gas production, we've quadrupled U.S. propane production. We've gone from the 8th largest exporter to by far and away the largest exporter, and we're making propane, that critical fuel that replaces wood, to make people's lives longer, healthier, and more opportunity-rich. A lot to be proud of in this country, but there's so many other energy challenges out there that are little known and therefore not addressed. But we can do better.
Indeed. Thank you. Senator Heinrich.
Thank you, Chairman. So